If you're a Sony user looking to get the most out of their camera with a wide angle lens, instead of spending that $2,200 on a Sony 16-35 G Master, let me tell you about the Tamron instead. Oh, that made me really nervous. Roll that intro. Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm not your average Joe, and if you're new around here, I am a veteran turned creator, and then I help you find the creator within and turn passion into purpose. Also, if you're new around here, consider subscribing, liking this video if that's what you're into, because we make some videos about travel, filmmaking, vlogging, so I'll do the occasional product review, vlog my travels. Like right now, I'm in Arizona for the first time. It's day 3 in Arizona, and I've been able to take advantage of this Tamron 17-28. I actually had it mailed to this Airbnb, so it would arrive when I did, and I could actually take it out and put it to the test. Honestly, the first thing I thought of when I got this lens is that it's really simple and light. There's no buttons or anything external on it. I also love the fact that this has an internal zoom. It's going to be really great for gimbal or just run and gun kind of situations due to the fact that it is light and very simple and easy to balance with the internal zoom. It's also a very light lens, coming in at a whopping 14.8 ounces or just a little under a pound. I was also pleasantly surprised by the build quality, considering that everybody else who reviews this lens talks about how bad it is. But it is a good high quality plastic. You look at the lens, it's got a nice, the lens itself is really nice on the inside under the cover, and under the back cover it's got this rubber gasket, so you get this really secure feeling when you put it on your camera. Other than the back of it, the rest of it's plastic like I said, but it's a high quality plastic. It's not like a kit lens, it doesn't feel cheap, but it's also something that you can run and gun with and not feel bad about it, right? You can kind of beat it up a little bit, and because of the nature of the lens and just the fact that it's so light and affordable, well, it's more affordable than G Masters and the other lenses. You don't feel so bad about actually putting it in its paces. I have a Sigma 24-70 and a 7200 G Master lens, both 2.8, and so for those, I have a tendency, especially the G Master, to baby them, whereas this one, it's not as big of a deal. The other thing with the other two lenses I have, especially the G Master, is those things are monsters. They're made of metal and glass, and they're just so robust and heavy, and they honestly feel like bricks that you could just hammer nails in with. You could literally go to a house, work on it, help some construction workers, and instead of using those hammers, you just use that freaking lens. Not that I would do that, but with this, I definitely appreciate how light it is because of those two lenses. Sigma's got a reputation for its build quality, and because the build quality is so good, it does have a tendency to be a little heavier, but it feels like an actually really good lens. And I get a similar feel from this. Not the heft to it, but it feels nice. Don't mind me or my makeshift mic stand. When you're traveling, you gotta do what you gotta do. So let's get right into the voiceover section of this video, and I can show you just what this lens can do. After using this lens for the day, here were some of the images that I was able to grab. And if you like the look of these images, I'll have some preset and LUT options coming soon, so that you can take your photo and video edits to a whole new level. Now let's get into the sample footage that I collected straight from the camera. I ended up going to a town in Arizona called Jerome, an old mining ghost town. Here I was able to grab all of these images and photos, and as you can see, they turned out pretty great. I was very pleased with how fast the lens pulled to focus where I wanted it to, and just overall how sharp all of these photos ended up turning out. There wasn't hardly any vignetting, warping, or loss of sharpness that you wouldn't see on any other wide lens that's on the market right now. It exceeded all of my expectations, even after hearing nothing but great things about Tamron. As far as bang for your buck goes, I think this lens takes it, especially for a $900 f2.8 lens. The Sony Zeiss 16-35 f4 isn't even $900 used. You get a lot of versatility for not a lot of money. So this is as wide as the lens is. Only bad thing with the Sony is there's no flip-up screen. I don't have my external monitor on here, so we'll see how the composition is. Here it is at 28. So probably for the sake of the YouTube video, I'm just gonna pretend to talk about something. Alright, so you try to open the porta potty earlier. Someone is in it. Let's see. Watch it be a mannequin.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna laugh at you.
I'm scared.
Oh, it is.
See? I told you.
Oh, like so when you close it. So when I bought it for one major reason, and it was to complete that lens trifecta. I had the 24-70 lens, I got the 70-200, and I needed something on the wide end of the spectrum, so I could have, you know, from 17 to 200 on the focal length spectrum covered, right? So I had a lens for every situation, and I kind of thought this lens would be one of those lenses that have to find a reason to use it. I thought that it was going to be, you know, the occasional vlog, maybe a couple real estate gigs here or there, you know, the occasional astro photo. I thought it was just going to be something that I had to look for reasons to use it. But honestly, after using it and after having that internal zoom and just feeling how light it is something that I was pleasantly surprised with, and I'm excited to continue to use in the future. It did catch me by surprise quite a bit. So let's get right into the pros and cons. I'll start off with the cons because honestly, I don't have a lot of them. But one of the cons being that it is a 67mm thread on here for an ND filter or UV filter if you're using them. It's not a big deal, but it is small. It is a very easy fix. All you gotta do is get a step-up ring for it and boom, you're good. I've got an 82mm ND filter and I got the 67 to 82mm thread on there. It's, like I said, no big deal, super easy workaround, and it's just super easy to deal with. So this is what it looks like with an 82mm ND filter on it. You know, obviously it does stick out a little bit, but it's not bad. You get a step-up ring and 67 to 82 and you're good to go. And then this is the step-up ring itself. You know, it screws on and off, super simple to use. You know, nothing crazy, but it is a lifesaver. If you're on the fence about ND filters, I'll use this video to tell you, go get one. They're amazing. Just find the biggest lens you have, get one for that, and then just get step-up rings for the rest of them. So another con I had with this lens, I ran into a problem that ended up being an easy fix, but there's no way to switch it on the lens from autofocus to manual focus. And so I was excited to try it out for astrophotography, but obviously you need to be able to manually focus and do some stuff with the lens. Otherwise, it turns out to be kind of a deal breaker. But luckily, Sony has a way to switch the focus modes in body, so you can go from auto to manual relatively easily, and it ended up not being a deal breaker. You know, worst case scenario, it just takes you a couple extra seconds to switch it from auto to manual, and if you're doing astrophotography anyway, you have the time to do that. Because you know you've got the different exposures you got to set up your camera a lot. The only other con that I can possibly think of personally is the fact that the zoom ring and the focal ring are switched around, meaning it's not going to be like the other lenses you have, right? The zoom is in the front and the focus is in the back, but I don't really mind. And I haven't really noticed. Super self-explanatory. You zoom on the big side and you focus on the little side. Not that you're gonna be doing much focusing because it doesn't have the button on the outside. If you do decide to focus in body, it's right here, it's that little ring, it's very simple. Like I said, I didn't really notice or mind very much. You get used to it very quickly. And you gotta keep in mind, if those are the only cons for a lens like this is coming in at $900 instead of $2,200. Right? Keep that in mind. You're saving about $1,300 from the Sony G Master lens. So with that being said, I mean, it's not necessarily a budget lens because it is $900 still, but in comparison, it's a budget lens. And it's a great starter lens if you are shooting on your first full frame camera, or you're just looking for a good wide angle lens. And with that being said, let's get into the pros of this lens and what I like about it. As far as the pros go, it is very affordable, coming in at $900 again for a 2.8 aperture lens. Right? You can even look at the, the 16 to 35 Sony Zeiss lens. It's an f4. This is an f2.8, and it's still cheaper. I've heard the Sony Zeiss is a good lens. I wouldn't know. I haven't used it. I've only used this. But on the reviews, you get a lot more bang for your buck for this. Yes, I know you don't get 16. Instead, you get 17. And you don't get the 35. You get 28. But if you've got a 24 to 70 millimeter lens, it doesn't really matter now, does it? You can just switch to the other lens. And if you really desperately need 35 millimeters on here, you can just use that button on the Sony to punch in, to crop the sensor. And so then you'll get that 35 millimeters you're desiring, right? So if you're really looking at it that way, you get a pretty good range, especially for the price, right? Yes, it is simple. I actually happen to like the simplicity of it. I'm not gonna accidentally hit any buttons or switches. There's nothing to worry about. It's just put the lens on the camera, snap the photos, take the videos, you're good to go. The other thing I loved about it is it's super lightweight and robust. Like I said, it's got that weather sealing on the back. It doesn't feel like a light kit lens where it's got no substance to it. It's got substance. It's got a really good high quality plastic. The rubber's really high quality. It's got a nice tension on the zoom. If you're using a Ronin S, it's gonna handle that like nothing. With my 24 to 70, I have to balance in the middle and be kind of careful how I do it. With this, I literally slap it on, balance it. I will not have to worry at all. And I love that peace of mind with this lens. Another thing that I loved about it is the autofocus for photo and video was incredible. I didn't notice anything, out of the ordinary. I didn't have to sit there with photos and have to, worry about how to focus. It snapped right onto things. I love the bokeh effect when I was shooting up close that it had in the back. Like I said, everything with the autofocus here, I have not ran into a problem video-wise at all. You can focus really close. I believe the focus distance on here is... The minimum focus distance on here is 19 centimeters, which is super up close and personal. It does amazing on that front as well, so anything you could possibly want to capture with this, you are good to go. With this, you get internal zoom. With Sony G Master, the 16 to 35, you get external zoom. It's gonna come out, it's gonna come in. I think both lenses have their place in the filmmaking community, in the things that you're doing every day, but like I said, if you're in the market for a wide angle lens, at least give this consideration because I've been nothing but happy with it.